Good day. Today we'll be discussing biaxial bending wherein hindi na lang sa isang axis yung application ng moment. So there's a possibility that yung weak axis ay magkakaroon din ng moment. So this is because of two ways. Una, if meron kayong loads applied dun sa weak axis. Yun yung like a uniform loads or just a concentrated load basta along sa length applied laterally sa y-axis natin. So, say for example, we have this section and meron kayong loads na ganyan. Pwedeng uniform load or concentrated load basta along dun sa sides of our section. So, magkakaroon na siya, magde-develop ng moment sa weak axis. Unlike dun sa usual na ganito yung load natin, transverse or gravity loads. So, kung meron tayong uniform load dyan, it will cause a deflection or a bending along its longitudinal axis. Pero kapag ito yung niload natin, yung lateral, titingnan natin yung top view. And then yung top view na yan, magkakaroon din siya ng deflection pero pa sides way. The same as yung lateral torsional buckling. Yung sides way yung bending niya. So this is caused by the moment about the y-axis. So, usually, kapag meron naman tayong ganitong section na oriented at horizontally, so, dalawa lang yan, dalawang ways kung paano siya magkaroon. So, pag may loads tayong applied sa y-axis, or yung second way, pag na-orient yung section natin, meron siyang inclination. So, kapag yung section ninyo ay meron inclination, kahit na yung loads nyo pa ay due to gravity lang, magkakaroon siya ng component, yung normal, yung tinatawag nating normal and tangential. So, yung normal acts along the strong axis while the tangential acts along its weak axis. So, yun yung dalawang ways na kung paano tayo magkakaroon ng bending moment about its weak axis. First, if meron kayong loads applied laterally, and the second one, if yung section ninyo ay merong inclination or merong orientation na hindi siya dun sa with respect to the usual horizontal axis. Okay, so paano natin ito iti-treat, So, the most common one dito sa CE2212, magfo-focus na lang tayo dun sa section na naka-orient with an angle of inclination. So, yun yung magiging example natin for this discussion. So, ano ba yung gagawin? What are the common loads na applied if we have this kind of section? Especially sa mga roofings or purlins. So, ito yung mga common loads. First, yung self-weight, hindi mawawala yun. And ano yung mapapansin niyo? So, yung W1, yung due to self-weight, it is applied at the center of the cross-section. The second one is still a gravity loads, but this is from yung usual na mga floor loading natin like superimposed dead load or yung mga live load. And it is still applied sa center, pero nandito na siya sa top nung section. Yun yung application niya. So, hindi siya directly dun sa pinaka-centroid, pero yung application niya ay nandun sa taas. Since mostly yung mga loadings natin, floor loadings, ay nandito lang nakalagay. So, we assume na yung mga loads na yan ay applied at the top of the section. So, W2 is still a gravity loads. So, and it includes both the live load and the superimposed dead load and applied on the top of the section. While the third one, the most common for mga roof natin, mga roof flexural members like purlins, yung wind loads. The wind loads are applied normal to the axis. So perpendicular na siya dun sa section. So hindi siya yung typical na gravity loads. Tama ba? Ito yung tangential. So, magkaiba pala. So, tangential, ito yung magiging lateral load. And yung normal, kapag rotated, yung axis. So, parang yun yung magiging gravity loads. Okay, so ngayon ang magiging issue is kailangan yung mga gravity loads, especially yung W1 and W2, magkakaroon na yan ng component. No, so magkakaroon ng tangential yung W2 and then magkakaroon ng normal yung W2. The same way for W1. But yung wind loads natin, W3, as is na yan, applied perpendicular or along the normal axis of the section. So, hindi siya magkakaroon ng tangential. Unless na yung W3 ninyo ay may in-specify na orientation. Ganyan yung maging application. But, most of our assumption for wind load, directly applied na siya normal dun sa axis ng section. So, yun lang yung mga loads na interested tayo for purlins or yung mga roof flexural members natin na nilalagay sa roof. Okay, so how do we treat this kind of problems? The same way as how we treat the uniaxial, pero magkakaroon lang siya ng additional. So the best way para masabi natin kung safe ba yung section is through DC ratio. So we know that DC ratio is demand over capacity. So the demand are based from the loads. So we need to obtain yung values ng mga moments because of due to the applied loads and also yung capacity ng section natin. So ganun lang yung demand over capacity. So unlike sa uniaxial na hanggang kahit dito na lang malalaman na natin kung safe yung section. But since dalawa na yung axis in consideration, we have two types of moment. We also need to compute for the DC ratio. The DC ratio contributed or yung caused by the moment applied about its wake axis. So yung MUY over the capacity along its wake axis. So same lang naman yung concept, no? We already know how to solve for the flexural capacity for strong axis. Madadagdagan lang tayo ng additional, which is yung section 506.6 for the weak axis bending. So the weak axis bending, take note na walang lateral torsional buckling. It's only when we solve for the tendency na magkakaroon ng slender elements or local buckling, saka masosolve na natin agad yung capacity about its weak axis. So ganun lang yung consideration. But there's an additional note na you have to consider. So kailangan dapat ipaghiwalay natin yung mga tangential loads na makukuha, because the tangential loads developed by the roof loads applied on top, meron siyang ibang consideration for the capacity that we are going to use. So if yung loads ninyo ay applied directly sa center, which is mainly yung tangential load caused by the self-weight, we will be considering a full moment capacity ng weak axis. But if we consider the tangential load caused by the loads applied on top, then magiging half na lang yung capacity, because nandito siya in-apply sa top. So hindi siya directly applied sa center, so we assume that the moment developed, or the capacity na magre-resist dun sa mga loads applied at the top is only half of the capacity kasi nandun lang sa part na yun. So half lang siya nung total capacity na meron tayo for a weak axis ng section. So ganyan, no? So later on, you will understand this. You'll find out how to separate the loads so that we can obtain this DC ratio wherein nakahiwalay yung tangential loads applied at the center and tangential loads applied on top of our section. So yun lang, basta make sure na in order for us to say na safe yung section, dapat yung DC ratio, yung total nun, ay mag less than 1. Ganun lang naman lagi yung goal natin if we want to analyze a certain member against the loads applied. So this is only the DC ratio. And tinatawag natin siyang interaction equation. Now, there's also a limit na if we don't want to have an excessive deflection for our roof. We usually use this allowable service loads, which is L over 180. This is the limit, the total span over 180. That's our maximum deflection. And we are going to use yung mga formulas natin to check for the actual deflection nung section given the loads that we have, and then compare it with this allowable to say if our section is safe against the deflection. And then for design purposes, now if you're designing a purlins, and we have a recommendation that you have to have at least 0.6 meters as per industry standard na spacing. So you can have 0.7 higher than those values. So yun yung pinaka minimum, but you can increase the spacing depending on the requirements, no? As long as you solve na okay naman yung section na pwedeng beyond 0.6 yung spacing, then the section is okay. Kasi kaso kapag nilakihan nyo naman yung spacing, mas tataas yung tributary loads, kasi the loads, no, the floor loads, para ma-convert natin yun into uniform loads, na ang kino-consider natin is yung tributary width. Kasi at first, yung mga loads na ina-apply natin or kino-consider from the code ay naka-uniform pressure load, so naka-KPA. So you need to multiply it by its tributary width para makuha ninyo yung uniform loads. Okay, so yun lang yung mga consideration. Okay, so these are some additional formulas. The same lang dun sa pinakita ko, but hindi dito naka-specify kung ano yung gagamitin nating capacity if the loads are applied at the center or the loads are applied at the top of our section. Now we have this additional important note, no? Ito yung mga sagrads. Ito yung in order for the section na mag-deflect or mag-move sideway, no? Parang it will act as a bracing din for our strong axis, no? Para ma-prevent natin yung excessive sagging or lateral sideway ng section. So we add this sagrads. So sagrads acts as a lateral bracing for our section. So kapag meron kayong ganyan na mga sagrads, nababawasan yung unbraced length ng section. So yung effect nun is for our the length, no, yung unbraced length na kino-consider natin when we try to solve for the strong axis section. So kapag meron kayong ganyan na sagrads, sinabi sa problem na merong sagrads at midspan, yung LB na gagamitin niyo for solving the flexural capacity ay magiging half na din. But in solving for the maximum moment, you still need to use 4L. So unbraced length lang yan para ma-solve natin yung capacity. Ngayon, yung effect din nun ay magkakaroon siya ng effect. Kapag meron kayong sagrads, yung moment ng y-axis ay mababago. No, although, yung mga loads natin ay na-consider natin ngayon ay uniform load lang, and then simply supported yung mga purlins, which is wherein yung maximum moment ninyo ay magiging WL squared over 8 lang. But, ito yung maximum for x-axis. But if you will be considering the moment ng y-axis, magbabago siya. No, parang nag-a-act siya as supports kapag yung y-axis. So this one is for y-axis, x-axis. Pero yung y-axis natin, pwedeng ganito yung magiging moment diagram, pwedeng maging ganito, or pwedeng maging ganyan. Depende sa kung ano yung in-specify sa problem. So kapag ganito yung nangyari, kailangan natin mahanap yung pinaka-maximum moment. No, so later on, I think mas maintindihan nyo pa yan. No, so pero say for example, if yung sinabi sa problem na yung sagrads ay applied sa center, yung gagamitin ninyong maximum moment for x-axis or strong axis, MUX is WL squared over 8. Pero kapag merong sagrad, yung sa y, hindi na siya WL squared over 8 yung gagamitin ninyo. So ang gagamitin na maximum moment for y-axis is WL squared over 32. Pero kung wala namang sagrad, yung moment na yan is just WL squared over 8. Ngayon, if meron kayong sagrads applied at third points, dalawa yung kailangan combination, no? So, say for example, if meron kayong sagrads at third points, yung sa x ninyo, the MUX, pwedeng maging WL squared over 8, and then yung sa y ninyo ay double L squared over 360 na. But you have to also check, no, yung combination na kung saan yung MUX ninyo ay maging double L squared over 9, and then yung katapat niya for Y, we have double L squared over 90. And kung sino yung magbibigay ng maximum moment, yun yung mag-govern, yun yung magiging critical. So you have to check each of those moment diagrams. Okay, so let's have this problem. Okay, so we have this problem. A roof system is supported by trusses spaced 6 meters apart, and the purlins used in this system are ASTM 836 and are equipped with sagrats positioned at their midpoint. So merong sagrats, no? So sinabi sa problem na merong sagrats position at their midpoint. So may maririnig kayong nagpupukpok, kaya ayokong mag-live minsan because of this. So hindi mo sure, hindi tayo certain kung kailan sila kakaroon ng pupupukpok, no? Because meron construction na ginagawa. So but regardless of that, we will still be having this asynchronous lecture, and I hope if you have those free time para hindi na tayo magkaroon ng meet up, no, ng ang tawag sa ganun, basta yung makeup classes, then we can have this asynchronous online sessions. Okay, so going back to this problem, we have the roof is inclined at 15 degrees. So meron siyang 15 degrees inclination. So these purlins are designed to carry service dead loads. So naka-pressure load siya or floor loads 300 Pascal, a service live load of 400 Pascal, and additional wind pressure of 0.8 kilopascal. Okay, so the first thing that we need to solve is assess whether the purlins spaced at 0.8 meters apart are structurally adequate for both flexure, pero hindi na muna natin i-check yung shear kasi hindi pa natin siya na-discuss. So yung flexure muna. The second one is determine the maximum allowable spacing of the purlins considering LRFD flexure. So dun sa handouts ninyo hindi given yung mga properties, but you can screenshot this one so that if you want to rewrite this or you want to try to solve it on your own, then ito yung mga given to guide you on your solution. And for the load combination, ibibigay ko naman yung load combination. You have to check those load combination provided sa NSCP, especially if given yung wind load. So we're going to use this load combination para mas ma-compress or mas maging short na lang yung solution, kasi in actual we still need to check kung ano yung load combinations na magbibigay talaga sa atin ng maximum load. Okay, so the first step in solving this problem is it's either you can solve for the loadings or yung required, no? Kasi ang goal is to solve for the DC ratio, the required over capacity. So kahit ano naman yung direction ninyo, pwedeng mauna yung pag-solve ng loadings or yung moment due to loadings, or pwede din namang unahin nyo muna yung pag-solve ng capacity. So kahit alin dun sa dalawa, basta ang goal is buo tayo ng interaction equation na kung saan nandun both yung loadings, no, yung required or yung demand, and then yung capacity. So ngayon, we'll just follow the track na we're in. Yung first natin na i-solve is yung capacity ng section for its strong and weak axis. So start muna tayo dun sa strong axis. So strong axis is applied along this axis ng section. So yun yung tatawagin natin MUX. MUX kapag ito yung axis, but since rotated na yung section, we have the normal and tangential. And then yung effect nito dun sa section is of course deflection along its longitudinal axis. Yun naman yung common if you have gravity loads, kasi dito siya applied, no? So and then meron tayong sagrats applied at the midspan, and it will act as bracing. So kapag ganyan, yung maging buckling niya is half na lang. So we'll be limiting yung unbraced length, which is yun yung basis natin when we try to solve for its capacity considering LTB. So for this problem, since meron tayong sagrad supplied at midspan, hatiin nyo lang yung unbraced length, which is from 6 meters magiging 3 meters na siya. And now we need to check kung merong LTB yung section. So the first thing that we need to solve is yung LP, and then if less than LP, then there's no LTB, no? Walang nag-exist na LTB. But if nag-exist, kailangan pa nating mag-check nung additional criterion wherein para ma-classify natin if yung LTB will be inelastic or elastic. Okay, so for this one, you need to solve for LP and applying the properties na given sa problem, then it gives us 620.76 mm LP. And if we are going to compare it with the unbraced length ng section natin ng beam, then mas mataas siya. So palitan nyo to. No, LB is greater than LP. So therefore, we still need to check yung LR. So yung LR is yung mahabang equation. And ito yung formula natin doon. And since we'll be using a C section, hindi siya I section because for I, yung C value is 1.0. But if ang kinoconsider natin is C section, we need to solve for the C using this formula, HO over 2, square root of IY over CW. IY is already provided, and ganun din, yung CW. And also yung HO. So, using your calculator, then it will give us 1.079, and yun na yung ilalagay natin dun sa formula. So 1.95 for LR, 14.83 is yung RTS, and 200K 0.7248. Pwedeng mag-cancel na yung 10 raised to 3 kasi both naman ng mga values na to ay merong 10 raised to 3, so pwede nyo na yan ma-cancel. Then continuing this long formula, so apply nyo lang, plug in lang yung mga values, and evaluating this, it will give us 3164.369 mm. And if we're going to check it with the LB, no, which is 3 meters, then it is now less than dun sa limit ng LR, which is 3.164. Therefore, yung behavior ng LTBI magiging inelastic. Now, for solving the capacity under the inelastic LTB, from the code, ito yung magiging formula. And dun sa formula, meron tayong bending modifier. So, yung bending modifier, if given yung load natin ay just uniform load and meron tayong bracing sa midspan, then yung CB ay 1.30. Pero iba yung CB value class na kung wala tayong bracing. So, check nyo na lang sa table kung ano yung value kapag walang bracing, or kung hindi kayo sure dun sa mga formulas na kalimutan ninyo, then you can solve it manually naman using the formula na 12.5 Mmax, but ang kailangan nyo lang is makapag-construct kayo ng moment diagram. So, yan lang naman yung makailangan yung tandaan if hindi given yung CB. But since from the table, we know that yung CB is 1.30 for uniform loading and simply supported, then we can use this in solving for the capacity. But make sure na yung pinaka-limit or cap na capacity ng section ay bawal lang mag-exceed beyond the full moment capacity. So therefore, dapat kung ano yung masolve natin dito, hindi siya pwedeng lumagpas na ng MPX. Otherwise, we'll be using MPX as its maximum capacity. So first, solve muna natin yung plastic moment capacity. The formula is FYZX. 248, 58 is already given and gives us 10 raised to 6. So further, you can divide it by 10 raised to 6 and gives us a value in kilonewton meters. Now, going into this formula, we were going to apply the 1.3 CB, while the MPX still the plastic moment capacity. Now, plug in nyo lang dun sa formula. But also make sure yung mga units, no? Kasi kapag namali na kayo sa mga units, kung ano dapat yung may kakancel, kung ano yung i-divide ng 10 raised to 3, then iba na din, magkakaiba na kayong makukuha ang sagot. Now, for this problem, pwedeng 10 raised to 3 na lang yung i-divide ninyo, and you can remove the times 10 raised to 3 from SX or yung elastic section modulus. And yung term na to, kailangan i-multiply yung ratio ng LB minus LP and LR minus LP. Now, solving this, it will give us 11.556 kilonewton meters, and comparing it with our MP na 14.4 to 3, then mas mababa yung nakuha natin from the formula ng inelastic LTB. So, it's okay, no? Pwede na natin gamitin yung 11.556. Pero kapag ang nakuha nyo dyan is 15, then you have to stick with this 14.43. But since hindi naman yung nangyari, we can use 11.556. Okay, so nominal pa lang to class, no? Kailangan nyo pa siyang i-multiply ng 0.9 if sinabi sa problem na LRFD yung gagamitin. Pero pag hindi na specify kung LRFD or ASD, you have to solve for both, no? But for this one, we assume na LRFD lang yung solution, then it will give us a maximum design strength na 10.4 for strong axis. Now, going to the weak axis, yung application niya is along dun sa Y. So, it's a weak axis bending, and yung effect niya is deflection pa din pero sideways way. You have to look at the top view. Hindi siya kagaya nung typical na deflection na along its transverse line. So ngayon sideways way na yung deflection. And yung magre-resist ng deflection na yun is yung properties ng section for its weak axis. Now for weak axis, wala tayong LTB, only flange local buckling. So you only have to check if yung flange ay compact or not compact. Okay, so for this one, flange local buckling, BF over 2TF. So hindi siya BF over 2TF kasi hindi naman wide flange yung kino-consider. So for this one is just yung flange width ninyo and yung thickness ng flange. So for this problem, 44.58.1, and check muna natin kung ano yung exact value nito sa calculator for everyone's clarity. So 5.49, and therefore this is less than 10.79, which is our limit criterion for flange compactness. So therefore the section is compact, or our flange is compact. And then from the code, you can use FYZY, but you have to make sure that this is less than our maximum capacity. So we have here 1.6, bawal na siya mag-exceed ng 1.6 FY and elastic section modulus for y-axis. Now if the case na nag-exceed siya ng 1.6 FY, then we have to limit our capacity to 1.6 FY as y. Now for this problem, we just have to put P248 dun sa formula, 12.41, and then you can also solve for 1.6 nung FYS. Okay, so evaluating the formulas, it will give us 3.078, and for 1.6, ang makukuha natin doon ay 2.42 kilonewton meters. And comparing these values, mas mataas yung 3.078, yung plastic moment ng y-axis. So therefore, we'll be using 2.42 as the capacity, nominal capacity for our weak axis. And we still need to apply the reduction factor in order for us to have the design strength, which is evaluating this, it will give us 2.178 kilonewton meters. Now, since na-complete na natin yung mga capacity ng section, we can now solve for the loads, the moments in both axes due to the loads applied. Now, kailangan natin i-separate yung analysis when we have the loadings, complete yung loadings na in-apply dun sa section. So, we have the loads applied due to self-weight. So, hindi yan mawawala. Meron laging self-weight. And we also have the loads applied at the top, which is yun yung mga floor loads. Comprises by, it is composed by our dead load, superimposed dead load, and yung mga floor live loads. While yung tangential naman, the third type of load is yung wind, wherein wala siyang tangential and only normal. So yung wind load natin is applied perpendicular to our section. So wala tayong tangential loads. So since meron tayong gravity loads na applied sa center, which is due to self-weight, no, hindi siya exactly na nagpo-fall along the normal and tangential axis, then therefore magkakaroon siya ng components, no, para ma-solve natin siya based dito sa orientation ng section. So we have to solve for the components ng W1. We also have to solve for the components ng W2. Now, we can now solve first muna yung mga loads in terms of as distributed. I-convert natin sila into distributed load. The first one, yung load due to self-weight, we have, saan natin siya kukunin? No? From the weight for the mass of the section. So, given naman siya sa problem, 10 kg per meters, pero naka-kilogram yun. So, we need to convert it into unit weight. 9.81 over 1,000. And it will give us 0.0981 kilonewton meters. Now, for the second type of loadings, yung mga applied sa top ng section, we have for dead loads, kinonvert ko na into kilopascal. Yung 300 pascal, di-divide nyo lang ng 1,000 so that we can have 0.3 kilopascal. And for live load, 0.4 kilopascal. So, ang goal natin is magi siyang uniform load. Yung kilopascal, ang units niya ay kilonewton m squared. And para maging uniform load siya, kailangan nyo siyang i-multiply ng another distance or spacing na meron siyang units of length. So, kailangan naka in meters pa din. So, saan natin yun kukunin? Yung additional na length, unit of length na yun. Na, kukunin natin siya from the tributary width. So, the tributary width, nakabase siya doon sa spacing center to center ng mga purlins or ng mga beams. For this case, say for example, meron tayong purlins, sinabi sa problem na 0.8 yung spacing, yung loadings ng isang section ay kukunin natin sa half ng spacing and then another half ng spacing sa kabilang side, and yun yung magiging tributary width ng beam na to. So, ganun din dun sa other purlins, no? Yung half nung S na to, and then kung meron pa siya ditong kinakarga, yung half din nun, then yun yung magiging tributary width niya, and yun yung magiging basis natin para ma-convert yung floor loadings na naka in terms of kilonewton per square meter into a kilonewton per meter type of loading. So, once na ma-multiply nyo na siya ng spacing, or yung tributary width, kasi S over 2 plus S over 2, then it will just give us a whole spacing, na isang spacing. So, once na ma-multiply nyo na yun ng spacing, magiging kilonewton per meter na yung units ng mga loadings, ng floor loadings. Okay, so since ang gagawin natin for this problem, in terms of S muna. Hindi natin i-apply yung 0.8 meters kasi yung second problem, pinapahanap yung maximum allowable spacing. So, parang yun na yung magiging unknown. Para mas madali yung pag-solve ninyo, gawin nyo munang unknown yung S. Huwag nyo munang i-apply yung 0.8 na spacing. So, ganun yung normal na mga problems for if purlins yung sinusolve ninyo. Na same lang din dun sa kung ano yung lumalabas sa board exam. Kahit pa nakastrema lang yung tanong, pero usually ganito yung process. So, gawin nyo muna ang unknown, yung S. So, the third type of load is yung due to wind load. And yung wind load na yun is naka-floor loading din or naka-pressure load. So, in terms of kilopascal. So, para maging uniform load din yun, kailangan din natin i-consider or i-apply yung tributary width para maging siyang uniform load. So, therefore, magkakaroon din siya ng S dito sa W3, but yung units niya is in kilonewton per meter. So, ang mga nakuha muna natin class ay naka-service load yan para maging ultimate. Since we are following LRFD solution, kailangan natin siyang kailangan tayo mag-apply ng mga load factors. For first type ng load, which is self-weight, this is just dead load. So, ang multiplier natin dyan or load factor ay 1.2. 0.117, and it will give us 0.11772 once na na-multiply nyo na siya dun sa service load. Next type of load is yung applied sa top or yung mga loadings natin, floor loadings. So, for second type of loading, meron tayong dead load and live load. Saan natin yung kukunin? So, dito na, isang load combination lang yung gagamitin. Pero kapag sinabi sa problem na you also have to check, yung 1.2 dead load plus 1.6, then dadami na yung mga kailangan yung i-check. But for this problem, para mas madali, ang loading na gagamitin natin or yung load factor na gagamitin for live load ay ito lang. So, 1.2 dead load plus 1L. Kasi pagsasama-samahin lang din natin siya. Lahat ng mga loadings, yung contribution ng loadings at the end of our solution. Now, for this loading, para makuha natin yung ultimate, pagsasama lang natin yung 0.3 and then meron tayong load factor na 1.2 and due to live load, 0.4 na 1. And will give us 0.76 S in terms of S, but naka-uniform loads na. Next, the third type of load factor natin is from the load combination na given 1.0 din, multiply it by 0.8S, then it will give us 0.8S na in terms of kilonewton meter. Okay, so sabi ko nga, para makuha natin yung ultimate loads, apply dun sa mga axis nila, kasi yung W1 and W2 ay gravity loads. So, ang goal natin is dapat nagpo-fall siya along sa axis. Kasi kapag hindi yan nakapag-fall along the axis, iba din yung orientation ng moment. So, ang moment kasi natin dapat naka-apply dun sa mga axis exactly. So, kailangan natin kunin yung component ng mga loads na hindi applied directly dun sa axis ng section. So, for our first type of loading, magkakaroon siya ng components sa tangential axis and sa normal axis. So, for this one, since ganito yung load natin, yung adjacent na component, this is the angle 15 degrees. Pag adjacent, cosine yung gagamitin, which is yun yung normal. And dun sa tangential axis, this is the opposite. So, we'll be using sine. Okay, so ito na yung magiging values ng mga component. The same way goes to our second type of load. You need to apply the trigonometric function in order to get its components. While for the third one, since applied na siya directly dito, so cosine ng 0, 1 lang. So, directly normal lang yung components niya. Wala siyang tangential. So, kompleto na yung mga loadings natin, uniform loads, and applied na sila directly dun sa axis ng section based dun sa given orientation. Okay, so ano na yung gagamitin nating formula for the maximum moment? So, since meron tayong sagrad, nagbabago. Sa weak axis, magbabago na yung moment niya. So, yung maximum moment will be WS squared over 32. But for the strong axis or yung normal, ito yung made-develop na moment sa normal axis. And it is acting along the strong axis of our section. While yung tangential loading natin will be acting along the weak axis of our section. So, these are the formula that we are going to use for the moment that will be developed on both axes. Okay, so, now, kailangan pag-iwalay natin yung mga moment na mapuproduce if meron kayong loads applied sa top and meron kayong loads at the center. So the first one is the total normal moment. So kapag total normal moment, kung mapapansin nyo dun sa interaction equation, isa lang siya. Pwede natin pagsasama-samahin lahat ng loadings applied sa normal. Ang magiging magkahiwalay lang is yung mga tangential loadings na applied sa top and then applied dun sa center. No? Kasi yung tangential, magiging ganyan. And then, meron kayong sa center, meron din ganyan. So, magkahiwalay. Pag nandito yung tangential ninyo, nasa taas, half lang yung magiging capacity sa weak axis na i-consider. Pero kapag nandito, full moment capacity ng weak axis yung gagamitin for the interaction equation. But for loadings na applied sa top and then yung normal component nun, tatama pa din siya sa center. No? So, hindi natin kailangan gawing half yung capacity ng strong axis. Pagko-combine lang natin for all types of loading. So, kapag normal yung load ninyo, hindi nyo na kailangan paghiwalayan yung loads na applied sa top or applied sa center. So, pwede natin yung pagsama-samahin kapag normal yung pinag-uusapan. So, for total normal moment, pagsamasamahin muna natin yung total normal uniform load. So, ano ba yung mga loadings? 0.1772. This is yung WN1. Okay, so, and then, since both yung loads na applied sa center and applied sa top, merong cosine siya, yung normal nun, pwede natin i-factor out yung cosine 15 and pag-add na lang natin yung 0.1772 and yung 0.76s. Pero hindi natin siya mapag-add kasi meron tayong unknown variable na s. Plus, pwede na din nating isama yung 0.8s. Wala lang siyang cosine. So, dapat mindful kayo sa kung ano yung may kailangan ng cosine or yung kailangan ng sine, no, for our tangential. But for normal, pwede natin pagsama-samahin yung WN1 due to the self-weight, yung load due to the floor loadings, and yung wind load. Now, to simplify, no, yung ating value for the total normal loadings, hindi pa siya moment, ito yung makukuha natin, 0.1137, and yung terms na merong s na variable, then we can have 1.534s. Okay, so ang goal kasi natin is yung moment. Kasi yung DC ratio ay dapat naka-moment lahat. Capacity naka-moment, and dapat yung demand ninyo ay naka-moment din. Okay, so applying the maximum flexural moment acting along the normal axis as L squared over 8, and ito yung total uniform normal loadings, then it will give us this, no? Pag-iwalayin nyo na lang. So, balang ginawa ko dito is 0.1137 6 squared over 8, then 0.51 yung makukuha, but please double check kasi yung problem na to ay may mga binago akong given unlike last year as compared din ng last year. So, iba na yung makukuha ang sagot. Okay, so ito din gawin nyo dun sa 1.534, but in terms of s, 6 squared over 8, then ang makukuha natin dyan ay 6.903. Then ito na yung load moment natin in terms of in kilonewton meter, pero magkahiwalay lang yung mga value kasi hindi pa natin alam or hindi pa natin in-apply yung value ng s. Next, for the tangential moment applied at the top, hindi natin pwedeng ipagsama yung tangential loadings na applied sa center and sa top. Kailangan magkahiwalay sila. But for now, unahin muna natin yung moment from the load applied sa top ng section. So, ano ba yung uniform load natin? Tangential applied sa top. So, we have 0.76s. And then, ngayon, sine na siya kasi tangential na yung pinag-uusapan. Then, it will give us 0.1967. And in order for us to get the moment, the tangential moment because of this loading, we just need to use this formula for the weak axis flexural moment, WL squared over 32. And it will give us 0.2213 in terms of this unknown s. Now, for the tangential moment developed because of the self-weight which is applied at the center, we just need to use this 0.1172 pero yung sign na since tangential. Now, and it will give us 0.305. And to give us the moment tangential, now we just need to apply the formula and we have this 0.0343 kilonewton meters. Now, kompleto na yung moments natin and kompleto na din yung capacity. Then we can use the interaction equation. So, the interaction equation is this one. Kung mapapansin niyo, ito yung moment because of the loadings applied at the top and yung capacity niya is half lang ng weak axis bending capacity. But for the loadings, the moment developed because of the loadings applied at the center, we are going to consider a full moment weak axis capacity. But for the normal, hindi naman siya nakahiwalay kasi lahat ng mga normal loadings natin ay assume na magtatama dun sa pinaka-centroid ng section natin. Then, we only have one expression for the normal loadings or the normal moment. And yung capacity natin is just the strong axis capacity, full, no? Walang half na yan. So, just, isa lang yung term natin for X. But for weak axis bending, dalawa siya, no? Magkahiwalay. So, yun lang yung medyo tricky dito. But, you have to be very mindful about separating the loadings and the moment that you need to solve, but the capacity din na dalawa, since yung isa ay kinoconsider ay half, yung isa din ay ang kinoconsider ay full. So kailangan lang natin i-apply yung mga nakuha nating moment. So for the total normal moment 0.51, now we can apply the 0.8 na S, no, dun sa equation in solving for the interaction value. So, since we know that for the first requirement, the spacing is equal to 0.8 meters, then you can plug in this value dun sa moment na nakuha natin. Palitan nyo lang yung S ng 0.8, then it's already a whole value. May makukuha na tayo dyan since hindi na siya unknown. Ganun din for the second type of moment, which is tangential applied at the top. But, take note na yung capacity niya is half no weak axis bending na 2.178. Yun yung na-solve natin kanina. Half lang nun. Pero dun sa loadings or yung moment tangential na applied sa center, 0.0343, take note na hindi yung weight natin, self-weight, hindi siya naka-base dun sa spacing. So, you can directly put 0.343 dun sa equation, interaction equation, and the capacity is full, 2.178. So, kompleto na yun lahat. We can now solve this directly using your calculator. Wala nang unknown. Then, it will give us 0.758. Now, for the decision kung safe ba yung section, basta as long as na less than 1 siya, then safe yung section for these loadings applied. Yung purlin section natin na C ay safe siya dun sa applied loadings. But if you are going to increase the spacing, pwedeng mag-exceed na siya sa 1.0 or tinaasan ninyo yung intensity ng mga floor loads. Like for DL, ang in-apply ninyo ay 800 Pascal, which is equivalent to 0.8 kilopascal. Or in-increase ninyo yung live load or yung wind load or naging 2 kPa na siya, then tataas din yung value ng interaction. Now, kung in case man na hindi pumasa yung mga section niyo given this loadings, then you can increase the section. Now, kapag tinasan niyo yung size ng section niyo, tataas din yung mga capacity. Pag nag-divide kayo ng mas mataas na value, then nare-reduce din yung ratio. So, ganun lang yung gagawin pag design. But since ang focus lang natin is analysis, we just need to compare kung safe yung section based dito sa criteria na dapat less than 1. Then we can say that the section is safe. But for this specific problem, safe naman yung section. Now, moving on to the second requirement, na ang pinapahanap naman natin, ay pinapahanap sa atin is yung value ng S na safe lang yung section kasi 0.758. Hindi pa siya fully na utilize. No, pwede pa natin lakyan yung spacing kasi kapag yung mga furnace ninyo nilakyan nyo yung spacing, so pwedeng onti na lang na sa isang span ng roof ninyo, pag nilakihan nyo yung spacing, mas onti na lang yung purlins. Mas economical yon. Pero kapag yung spacing ninyo ay kailangan mas masinsen, mas madami kayong spacing na kailangan, which is kailangan nyo din ng madaming purlins. Madaming purlins, madaming amount ng steel na kailangan, and that is not economical. But since hindi pa naman natin na-reach yung 1.0 na safe na interaction value, then we can still increase the spacing, no? So in-expect na natin na kapag sinet yung yung DC ratio equal to 1.0 or the interaction value equal to 1.0, since ito yung pinaka safe limit natin, then we expect na yung spacing ay tataas din. Now we can increase the spacing since hindi pa siya na fully utilize yung capacity ng mga section na provided for this problem. So sabi ko nga kanina, since hindi pa natin in-apply yung 0.8 na spacing, then we can solve for the unknown, no? So ganun din, no? Wala lang tayong value for the spacing. Then you can copy this expression papunta dito, but the S is unknown for this one, no? So solving this, we can equate na sa calculator ninyo, gawin nyo lang tong equal to 1.0, and kung mapapansin ninyo, isa lang naman yung unknown. Then solving this, shift solve from your calculator, then it will give us a spacing of 1.078. This is the maximum spacing. No, kailangan hindi na siya mag-exceed sa 1.078 kasi kapag tinaasan nyo pa siya, say for example, 1.1 nag-say kayo, say 1.1 meter na spacing, then tataas na yung mga value ng moment, mag-i-exceed na siya ng 1.0 na DC ratio. So for the design, you have to use 1.078, pero for detailing, hindi tayo pwede maglagay ng madaming decimal. So you can say 1 meters na lang. Dapat round down, no, for spacing para maging safe pa din siya. So say 1 meter, you can have the purlins space at 1 meters. That's the maximum para safe pa din siya. And once na ma-check nyo yun ulit, dito, kailangan less than 1 pa din yun. So, yun yung pinaka sagot for the second requirement. But for your exam, pwedeng pagpipilian kayo ng 1.1, 1.0, 0.9, or 1.2. So, ang pinaka pipiliin niyo for the most economical one is yung pinaka-close dun sa nakuha nating sagot. Pero dapat hindi siya mag-i-exceed dun sa nakuha nating value. So we can say na 1.0 is the safest spacing for these loadings and for the given section. No, if multiple choice. So ganun lang, no. So you can try to review this, rewrite this one because for the second quiz, ganito yung mga lalabas na problem. Ganito lang yung process na gagawin ninyo.